said it would be difficult to provide the needed healthcare should more cases be recorded.
The Eastern region on April 1 recorded its first coronavirus case. An Indian and a senior staff working on the Tema Akosombo rail project, resident Akpong with a travel history. The case is being managed. According to the Eastern Regional Health Directorate, contact tracing and more samples are being taken from the first case. Security has also been beefed up at the site where the case was recorded. The Eastern Regional Health Director, Dr. Boateng, expressed concern about inadequate PPEs and test kits to supply the health facilities in the region.
We have made various attempts to buy them on the open market, but rather unfortunately, you see, it's been very difficult, huge price increases, a temperature gun for checking the temperature, which was costing 250, is now 1,500, even if you get it.
The Eastern Regional Minister, Eric Kwache Darfour, said recording a case calls for more concerted efforts to contain the situation.
The Regional Security Council, through the various MUSEC and DISEC, is also monitoring the possible influx of foreign nationals or persons who have traveled outside and are returning to the region.
Meanwhile, some 108 markets in 33 MDAs in the region will be disinfected on April 4 to curtail the possible spread.
Well, let's quickly get an update on this. Kojo Ponkroma is Information Minister and Member of Parliament for Fosia Ibe constituency. He joins us from the Jubilee House. You see him right there. I thank you very much, Mr. Ponkroma, for your time this evening. I mean, now we have an update of the case 205 now. We have recoveries full and those who are recovering. And now we have 6 regions recording cases out of the 16. How good or bad can it get? I mean, do you have an idea in the coming days and months?
How many positive cases have we found? In fact, we like the fact that we are aggressive in looking for cases. We're going after the virus. And the more we go after the virus, that means the more we do the aggressive tracing and testing, the more numbers we will find. So good or bad is not about the numbers we find. Good or bad is really about the status of the positive cases. As at, I think earlier this morning, there were only 2 that were critical and the rest were all either responding to treatment. About 49 of them had been discharged at home and were completing their treatment. About 3 of them had tested negative after the treatment. So good lies in the status of the positive cases as we have them now, and the fact that we're able to aggressively go after the virus through this enhanced tracing and testing mechanism. Because if you don't do that, then you'll be living in ignorant bliss.
Absolutely.
And not knowing what is going on.
Yes, and obviously that's what the WHO has been advising. Keep testing. Are we testing enough? I mean, from what we're doing right now?
I always say enough is relative. Depending on your case, you may decide to do a particular testing approach. In our instance, the majority of our cases in the general surveillance until recently were cases that have been brought into the Ghanaian jurisdiction by persons who have traveled in. What we have decided to do is to have a clear list of about the first 1,000 contacts of these positive cases initially, about some other 5,000 persons on 28 flights that fell within the category of aircrafts that came in from countries that had recorded cases at the time. Now, if what we are doing is aggressively searching for these about 6,000 persons and testing them, and also testing persons in neighborhoods that are close to them, for our purposes, it suffices for now. If we have reason to further enhance that test, then we would have to find other ways of scaling it up. But for now, looking at a target of about 50,000 tests that we want to run and using these parameters, we are of the considered opinion that we're in a good space.
I want to find out What exactly informed that decision to have just 50,000? And then also whether we have enough test kits, because the president mentioned some 50,000 test kits. Do we have all of them?
This morning, the Ghana Health Service
Well, we apologize for this, but Kojo Nkrumah is Information Minister, just reaching us on Skype from the Jubilee House. We understand there's a crucial meeting going on right now, and that's what you see right there. We'll try to reconnect with him and get an update on this. Well, as he stated, we have a number of about 50,000 that testing is going on, and wanted to find out from him if we have enough test kits and whether or not these tests would actually come to the 50,000. And what exactly informed our decision to go into the 50,000? I'm sure we'll raise them back on Skype again and get some more details on this. But Aisha, what do we have from the political parties?
Let's look at some other stories, Alfred. And political parties in the country have pledged to support government in the fight against the novel coronavirus outbreak. At a meeting with President Akufo-Addo at the Jubilee House in Accra, representatives of the party lauded the president for his timely decisions so far in dealing with the pandemic.
The meeting was to seek their views and suggestions in the fight against the deadly coronavirus.
The disease doesn't have a political color. It doesn't know Democrats or Republicans or Tories or Labour or NDC or NPP. It's attacking human beings. I think that recognition is what should drive our collective response as a people to this pandemic.
Most of the speakers lauded President Akufo-Addo for the manner he has handled decisions in the fight against the pandemic and pledged their support.
Of course, I'm a convert, 100% behind you. Me and the General Secretary and the leadership of our party have had the privilege of being with you. And we know so far the fight against it has been exemplary. We have only one country, and let's together be behind our president and his government.
First of all, I want to thank you very much also for the decisiveness with which you have moved. As a doctor, I can say that the idea of the COVID management team that you have put out there is a very brilliant one. But what I would say is that the logistics to enable them to perform seems to be lacking. In my own district, Ghana East, we know that we don't have those PPEs, but we are told they are coming.
We've all not been there, so this is not the time to compete. I would like to say to us that let's make an effort at taking off our competitive blinders and put on our compassionate lenses.
I'm making a passionate appeal to His Excellency the President and to commend you for the amnesty you granted prisoners recently. Your Excellency, I'm asking for another amnesty from you. A number of radio stations have been closed down, and in our effort to ensure that we reach out to the majority of our countrymen and women, I'm appealing to Your Excellency to grant amnesty and get these radio stations that have been closed down to use their systems, their frequencies, and activate their latent, frequencies and others which are not being used to reach out to the people and to reach out to them in various languages, so that we'll be able to reach out to every nook and cranny of this country.
I think that the opportunities, the law is very clear as to how these radio stations, once they have been closed down or whatever it is, they were not closed down by me. That's the first thing. So it's difficult for me to be the one to unlock them. But the procedures are there. I'm surprised that a year or so later, that those procedures are not being used to be able to get the radio stations back on track. I don't really think that there's any big secret about them. The law is very clear. You make the application back to the National Communications Authority and go through the various procedures. And you don't have to wait for a president for that to happen.
Well, since the last update, that was yesterday, today we've confirmed one additional COVID-19 case from the Upper East region. Now, this particular case has no travel history or contact with any confirmed case in Ghana. So that's what you have it right there on the website of Ghana Health Service, confirming this particular figure of 205. Now, as of today, this particular case as recorded, you see right here, right there, it's a case which also adds up to yesterday. If you recall, the 4 out of the 9 cases we had yesterday also did not have a travel record nor coming into contact with any person who was confirmed having COVID-19. So this additional case from the Upper East region also does follow in the same regard, and we still have 5 deaths as we speak, and according to what the records. But currently, the number of regions, if we add this new case to it, comes up to 6. So we have the Greater Accra, Ashanti, Northern, Upper West, Eastern, and now the Upper East region. So the Greater Accra still leads with 183 cases, followed by the Northern region with 10 cases. But now we have 6 out of the 16 regions recording cases, various numbers. And if you recall, in the Northern region, we have a particular case of this 21-year-old Guinean lady who is still on the run, fled that facility where she was being held. It's a clear case of public health concern. We keep an eye on that and be updating you. But if you look at how we started the week, this is how the graph really looks like. On Monday, we started with 152 cases. On Tuesday, moved up to 161. On Wednesday, 195. That's about some 34 cases we added to it. And then on Thursday, that was yesterday, 204 cases. And today, Friday, we have 205 cases. So in all, throughout the week from Monday up until now, some 53 new cases have been recorded this week. And with some 28 recovering and 3 that are fully recovered. So that's how the picture really looks like as we speak right now.
Let's go to Parliament now, where the Minority Caucus on the Health Committee is pushing for government to extend the partial lockdown currently in force to 3 other regions in the country where cases of COVID-19 have been recorded. Ranking member on Health Committee, Kwabena Minta-Kando, indicated that extending the lockdown to the other COVID-19 affected regions will help contain the spread of the disease.
The president imposed a lockdown on Greater Kumasi, Accra and Kaswa Tema effective Monday, March 30. The case count currently is rising. Movement has not been restricted in the Upper West, Northern and Eastern regions, despite recording the cases.
We will never back medical doctors or health professionals to be on strike. We are all at risk at this crucial moment. So we can only appeal to them. We can only appeal to them to be at work. But you see, they must survive. They must be alive before they can protect you and I. So whilst you are appealing to them to be at work, government must expedite action on what they need. That's the point we are making. It looks as if government is talking plenty every day. I think they have done well about the talking. But at this point in time, it is not the talking we need. It is about the action. You lock down, restrict movement, because once movements are not restricted, the spread will move fast. And so, in order to be able to contain them, I think that restricting the movement of people in these 5 regions will not be bad. Only restricting the movement of the people in those 5 regions alone will not help fight the virus.
Doctors in Korle Bu have expressed their disgust at the unavailability of PPEs for use in emergency centers. There has been 1 confirmed case at the Korle Bu Teaching Hospital.
Who believe that after the finance minister's statement, it will take even up to 3 hours for us to have the details of the stimulus package to approve so that Ghanaians will get the relief? It's been 5 days, 5 solid days. We do not have the details of the stimulus package, how it's going to be administered, who are going to be beneficiaries. And unfortunately, our suspicion is that some expenditures are going on.
Meanwhile, the minority has raised questions on the failure of the finance minister to return to the House to provide details on the coronavirus alleviation program 5 days after informing the House on the $100 million budget.
Thank you, Honorable Muntaka. And
And you're also live here on News 360. Now, we have some news coming in from Keta, where we understand hundreds of residents of Keta in the Volta region massed up at a radio station, that's Jubilee Radio, after the municipal chief executive, Godwin Duji Efa, ordered the police to close down the station. Now, here's the reason why. This followed an alleged suspected case of COVID-19 involving a 41-year-old sailor who had been at sea for over 30 days in a fishing vessel. Oscar Kaba is a journalist who joins us live from Keta now. Oscar, thank you for your time this evening. We're seeing videos of what exactly happened, but why did the MC specifically go to the radio station to order the closure? What were they doing?
Actually, this was a total surprise to the residents of Keta. Why such a directive should be given by the municipal chief executive when this issue of COVID-19 becomes a stakeholder issue where everybody is expected to be part of trying to fight COVID-19. Like you said in your intro, there was this suspected case of a fisherman or a trailer who was seen and brought ashore by some of the residents in Buchakope. So we were told they sent the said victim to the Keta Municipal Hospital. But unfortunately, it looks like the radio station was also doing this way after the media house to inform the people to stay in their homes, because you know, if such news happens, some people want to catch a glimpse or they want to get closer to the place. I think that is what the radio station was trying to do, to inform the community or the people of Keta that they have seen something like this, but everybody should stay put. But unfortunately, this morning, the news came and I rushed to the place, and I saw a whole crowd of youth came out saying no. They won't allow their only source of information.
So are you saying, Oscar, that the radio station was just educating the public or trying to keep...
That is correct. That is really the case. That is because I spoke to the morning show host, I spoke to the news editor and all online. I was like, what is the call for police to be there to say they want to close on the radio station? And the whole community was...
I see. So let me find out this.
To protect it being closed down.
Oscar, so it wasn't as though the host of the program then was putting out information that was creating fear and panic, possibly, in the area?
Honestly, I analyzed the whole program this morning, and I to the extent I called the news presenter, the morning show host himself. Can you really please get back to me? I'm told you are creating fear and panic. He says, no. Senior brother, senior comrade, this is not an issue. We're only educating our people because it is our social responsibility.
Okay.
COVID-19 is a serious thing, and we need to inform our people. This is what he told you.
Okay, thank you very much. Oscar Kaba is a journalist in Keta joining us at the moment. And I must say this, that we're trying to raise the municipal chief executive of the area, that's Keta, to better understand this, because we are not really also apprised with the details of exactly what was said on that particular program. And so we would want to get clarity on that. And so for you out there, viewers, also be a better judge of exactly what happened there. Now, Godwin Duji Efa is the municipal chief executive. He joins me on the telephone for some update, some clarity on exactly what happened and what led to the decision to close down that radio station, that order that he gave. Mr. Duji Efa, can you hear me? Good evening to you.
Good evening.
Great. Now, we understand that you gave an order for a radio station in Keta to be closed because they were talking about a suspected case of COVID-19 in the area. Can you please explain to us exactly what happened?
All right. Good evening to you and then your listeners. The Keta MC has given an order for a radio station to be closed because they spoke about a suspected case. If they have spoken about a suspected case, that is a good news. Why should we give an order for that radio station to be closed? I have not given any order for the radio station to be closed.
Right.
The regional minister, has not asked me to close down any radio station. And there is no intention of closing that radio station.
So, what exactly did you do? I mean, what order did you give to the police that led to the crowd massing up at the radio station, as we are seeing right now in the video that we were showing?
To be frank, how did the public know that an order has been given to the police? How did they mass up?
Is that Jeff? I mean,
the radio host that morning that was misinforming the public about the suspected case, that we have left the person to be roaming in town. The general service at the municipal level, the assembly have left the person to be roaming in town, and then they are infecting other people with the COVID-19 virus. Meanwhile, the person is in quarantine, and then the official folks who brought him from upstream also are under quarantine. So, if you want to talk about this, you want to say the truth, then you come to us. Come to the Municipal Health Directorate, or you come to the MC, take reliable information from us, and you present to the public. So they were just causing fear and panic. And then the district commander, as the chairman of the task force for the COVID-19, was one who went to the radio station to invite him to come and meet the municipal security committee and then receive some education at that level and go back and inform the public on the facts.
Okay. I see.
And so he didn't come immediately, so he came later in the afternoon.
Okay.
After the meeting.
Right. So where's the person, the suspected patient now?
It's at the holding center in the municipality, and then the official folks are also quarantined somewhere.
I see. So what's his condition now? What's his condition now? Do you know?
When we came to the seashore, we took him to the hospital. Initial tests were conducted on him. He didn't show any symptom of the COVID-19. But for us to be sure, leaving those two unturned, we took samples on him and sent to the Noguchi Malaria Research Institute in Accra for confirmation. And then the result is not yet out. We are sure that tomorrow we should hear something from Accra and then confirm whether he's positive or not.
Okay. Thank you very much. Godwin Edudzi Efa is a municipal chief executive for Keta.
And now some farmers under lockdown but have farms elsewhere in other regions want permits to enable them carry on their work. They contend the movement's restriction is affecting their farming activities and could impact negatively on food production. Here is a report by Evelyn Tingma.
A statement issued by the Food and Agriculture Ministry on March 30 urged security officers manning the various borders to allow farmers as well as input suppliers, retailers and transporters in the food value chain to continue with their activities. Despite the directive, some farmers say their movement have been restricted by security personnel. Terence Adabalinia is an animal husbandry and cash crop farmer in the Eastern and Ashanti regions, though he lives in Accra. He said he was in Accra to transact business when the lockdown in Accra and Kumasi took effect.
Currently, the feed fish meal to mix with other feed for the pigs is running out or is out, and I cannot go to buy and send to the farm manager to be able to feed the pigs. So I will not be able to monitor and see how the animals are doing.
He says the cropping season will soon begin and he may not be available to prepare the farmlands due to the lockdown. Charles Nyaba, who is head of programs and advocacy of the Peasant Farmers Association, suggests farmers be granted permits to move to their farmlands in other regions.
There should be a way to allow farmers who live in Kumasi and Accra and want to go to their farms to farm, to go there. It could be that those people who are moving should be given tests, and if it proves that they are negative, they are allowed to continue to go and carry out their farming activities.
The farmers fear there could be food security challenges in the long run if they are not allowed to move. But Acting Director of Crops, Seth Oseyakuto, in a telephone interview said farmer-based organizations could provide identity cards for such members for easy identification by security officers, adding that it would be impossible for individual farmers to be given that recognition.
You're live on News 360. We're back with some business news, and AQM is Brampa standing by to stay.
I'm a proud old student of Agri Memorial Senior High School. My school needed a first